Hello and welcome back to Planet Stronghold Colonial Defence. I love the way everybody seems really shocked by this, in spite of the fact that there's been at least 3 times when he's almost said mother when talking about the Queen. You didn't tell Dad when you busted the windshield of the hovercar trying to outrun the hail. Yes, but you're less likely to get court-martialed for cracking a window with a baseball than letting the heir apparent stroll around a battlefield. How are we sure you're the real prince? We've already had one imposter. No offense, Mirror. None taken. Lucius, what does his record say? He is Rigel Abbey Luvine, mechanic first class. Well, it wouldn't take much for the royal household to create a false set of records. Not to mention an anagram of Gabriel Neuville. An anagram, really? I know. I have a weakness for the classics. That doesn't convince you. Xavier and Lola can vouch for me. I knew Gabriel back in boarding school. Admittedly, back then I knew him as Maggot Breath. And how many people know the future Duke of Brazil was formerly called Stinkfeet? Yeah, while I couldn't claim such intimate knowledge of His Highness, it's him. We've met often enough when I reported on the royal family. And what do you say, Griselia? Is it the prince? Unless I'm given further permission, I can't tell for sure, but I can tell you his thoughts are that of a human. Go ahead, I have nothing to hide. Oh my! Samuel, to answer your question, Rigel is the prince. Sorry for doubting your word, Your Highness. Rigel, please, we're all friends here. No need for such formalities. If that was an order, it wasn't a suggestion, but more of an observation. Look, in my time here, I've seen you do the best you can, but how many times were the aliens the aggressors? What about your royal mother's decree? Mother's commands aren't set in stone, especially when I'm here. If necessary, I'll take the blame on myself. It's your command to let the aliens, the Discorians, wear each other down. Only a suggestion, Captain, and nothing more than that. Whichever course of action you pursue, I will support you fully. But no matter your preferences, the safety of humanity is my primary responsibility. And what about those caught in the middle? There are always unfortunate casualties in a war, Griselia. It's up to us to minimise them. You're the ones taking the risks. It's all well and good to say we don't want to lose our souls by our choices, but is it worth losing your lives? That's the only choice you can answer. What do you think, Diana? Save them, or let them fight their own battles? It's one thing to consider. Some of the aliens may be worthwhile allies, but others may not be worth the effort. Select an alien race. Okay, is this... Well, the Dredens have been pretty good to us. Well, this is rather interesting, Captain. What's going on, Mitsuki? We just received 2 communications from the Dredens. First is Hila Vile, and she was requesting our help fighting the Discorians. Wait, what's the second message? Her mate, Vanguard Nata, says to disregard the previous message and save ourselves the trip. The beauty of having 2 leaders. The Romans tried it, having alternating councils. It worked. For a time. I don't know, Diana and Alex seem to be doing alright. I'm not about to become food for the vultures over a sibling tiff. It normally works well for the Dredens. If anything, Hila Vile is overstepping her bounds. Can you blame her? She's worried for her people. With our help, she can make short work of the Discorians. Shame that Nator hates us with a passion. Some of that might have to do with the fact he lined your jacket with his brother's fur. And here I thought she was simply boasting. Hey, I left him still alive. Besides, I didn't use all the fur. It reduces the chafing from my handcuffs. Huh? No, you aren't getting the fur-lined collar. Do you expect me to have sympathy for any race of cannibals? They eat our people. Hell, Caden could wipe his ass on their skin for all I care. Point of clarification. Cannibalism is when you eat your own species. Technically, when the Dredens feed on our dead, it isn't cannibalism. That does not make it any better. If they can't respect our dead, I'm not inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt. Look, I'm not condoning some of their actions, but they have helped us. They saved me years ago. Or else kept her around in case they ran out of food. And they cured Griselia and Samuel from the Paladrain crystal plague. It's for that reason alone I'd recommend helping them. Of course, I'm sure they've forgotten we kidnapped their healer to get the cure. Vile was kind to me. She's helped me more than any other psionic I'd met. Or else she was hedging her bets. Seeing how often Nador was beaten, Vile figured it was in her people's best interest to play nice. Talk all you want, but my mind's made up. Let the Discorians have them. They ate our people, threatened to take our children. Who knows what might have happened to the captain to stop it? They would have found a ready market among the Apex Ran. or the insides of a stew pot. If we don't help the Dredens, what are the chances against the Discorians, Lucius? Quite high, given the Dredens prefer asymmetrical warfare. They are expected to pull into the desert, drawing the Discorians into devastating traps. I must pity the Discorians. Fighting fair is not in the Dreden vocabulary. Look, if it's just heal a Ville, then I see no problem. I'll end with the Dredens. But with Vanguard Nader, you know he's just waiting to stab us in the back. You might consider something else, Captain. If you don't help the Dredens, it's certain they will retreat. Where did the Discorians go from there? We would be their closest target of opportunity. And if we're busy with the Discorians, what happens when the Dredens return? Samuel, what would happen if Vanguard Nader was out of the picture? Then leadership defaults to heal a Ville, at least until they can choose a new Vanguard. Your eyes glitter when you get clandestine thoughts. What are you thinking? Just eliminate him. If we let the Dredens know we're coming to help, know he's going to run off, if anything, Nader will use it as an opportunity to one-up us. While I wouldn't mind putting that bastard in the ground, if there's one problem, Healer Ville will be there as well. I doubt she'd appreciate us killing her mate. Perhaps Cresselia could pull the healer aside. Hell no, whatever plan you have in mind, I'm not going to be a party to it. Not to mention you have a dead husband to explain to the healer. Why not blame it on the Discorians? For the simple reason that Nader died while Ville was talking to us. If you remove both, then whoever the Dredens choose next will be even more hostile to us. What if we knock the healer out? She wouldn't know who did the deed. We get rid of an obstacle. What did you have in mind? I have a hammer. Kristoff has his special brew. Dreden healers have to overcome death. I don't think you have a hammer big enough for that. I don't know. You've never seen the size of my hammers. I've already thought of that. I retained some samples from the Paladrain Plague. Why, Samuel? So you could duplicate it? Not everything has to have a military application, Charlotte. And yet your very suggestion proves otherwise? I understand your stance, Charlotte, but it does us no harm to hear all the options. How do you intend to use the crystalline dust? The dust will disrupt Ville's psionics, at least temporarily, and I have a compound which will affect her hippocampus, essentially leaving her memory blank for a couple of hours. It will require careful timing, but it could work. Of course, if it fails, it leaves us at war with the Dredens. And if the Discorians kill the healer, it'll leave us in the same position. I don't know. What do you say, Diana? Bonus rare Dreden cards, but with a smaller deck. Fight the Dreden. Defeat both. Assassinate Nator and nullify... No, we're allying with the Dredens, goddammit. You better hope the Dredens don't decide to just cut and run. If you treat the healer with honour, she'll make sure the others respond that way as well. Good. I always liked Ville. Establishing closer trade ties will only help afterward. Damn, this places me in the unlikely position of hoping the Discorians manage to kill Naor with a lucky shot. Mission 26. Ah, there's more than 25 missions. Excellent. Are you sure this is where Lucius said the Dredens and Discorians fought? I have to agree. If a fight took place here, this is the cleanest battlefield I've ever seen. Alicia's bedroom looks more like a war zone. Take a closer look around. See here? This is glass. If I had to guess, one of the Dredens missed and melted the sand with their energy crossbow. You can also see traces of blood and hydraulic fluids if you look closely enough. So the Dredens tied up from the last attack. I wonder why that is. If I were to guess, it would be because they were expecting a second. If it were anyone else, I'd agree with you. I believe it's because someone was hoping to get the drop on us. Right, Nader? Why, dear Captain, whatever would give you such an idea? The effusive and warm greeting you always give me. How is your wife, Healer Ville? My mate is taking care of our wounded. Some of my soldiers suffered injuries at the hands of your machines. I had nothing to do with their making. They claim you as the progenitor. After all, can one blame the poisoned fruit when it falls from a diseased branch? You're a fine one to talk about corruption, you bastard. Oh yes, I remember you. The one with hair like an open wound. With an attitude like yours, I'm afraid your daughter wouldn't have fared well. Though there was always the fire pit. Why you... Charlotte, calm down. He's trying to goad you. Not to mention, our attention will be distracted while we deal with your outburst. A common tactic at the bargaining table. I don't know how many times I've had my dick size insulted when trying to get a good deal at one of their bazaars. And this explains why everyone's inboxes has ads for natural Dreden penis enlargement pills 6 months back. You do know that you owe my father 50 credits, Kristoff. I was betting you would have fled into the desert, Nader. Guess even I can be wrong. He's here because He's here because he knows I refuse to leave. Nator, you should have told me our guests had arrived. Captain, I extend my hospitality to you. I'm honoured. While I walk with you, your people are my people. Your foes are my foes. Our ancestors are spinning in their graves. You don't extend hospitality to mange-ridden primates. Besides, we can handle these Discorians just fine. Then you are mistaken. While you are dealing with this small force, the Discorians sent forces against the Apex Ran, Madrons, and Matrix. And that is why I chose to ask these aliens for your help, Nator. What say you, Captain? That is my purpose here. We can either bury our hate, or our blades. I agree as well. Let us leave our differences in the past and take up the building of tomorrow, today. And if words fail, we still have our guns. But so do the Dredens, Galena. I think you are being too optimistic. Have you forgotten they abducted you as well? We had our reasons. From your own lips, we should do what our ancestors would do, and let the desert consume our trail. And you don't think the Discorians would track you down? Now who is being naive? Nator, better to die on one's feet than on one's knees. Take those who wish to go if you must. I'll understand. But as for me, I will stay and fight. Looks like you'll have your wish, Healer Vitae. I detect more Discorian forces heading this way. Everyone, prepare yourselves. I'm not going to split our people in two, Vile. However, keep your pet humans well away from me as we fight. Okay, we're going to get 20 cards in this battle, so let's ditch the volunteers. Marksman team, the sharpshooter teams, one of the squads of regular infantry. Let's ditch the flamethrower turrets and the machine gun infantry, I think. Okay, let's get a missile turret up. So we have Healer Vile, and we have Vanguard Nado. Ooh, deals 1 damage to units 3 times. Ooh. So that could actually be kind of useful. Enhanced Force Field. Does a bit of damage, but not much. Stuns, which is annoying, but since she's going to heal 1 hit point. Between them, they've got a pretty decent amount of firepower. Okay, take that barrier down. That's fine. Nice. Dealing quite a lot of damage. Okay, get Agent Zero in there. Okay, Vanguard, you can kill it. Well done. Strike over there. Lovely. Alright, deploy there. Agent Zero, target. Everyone else, fire at will. Agent Zero, you can destroy it and only lose your force field. Deploy the hover tank, which has charge, which means it can do that. Fantastic. Victory is ours. However, you know there is going to be a price to pay for this, Vile. What more could you get out of us? We'll fight with you, risking our lives for your people. Not everything is about you, human. Vile knows what I'm speaking of. I've overstepped my bounds. Healers aren't meant to lead in times of war. Making alliance with you, at the next conclave I'll be asked to step down. A small price to pay for the well-being of your people. I think so as well. But what's to prevent Nator from breaking the alliance? Don't impugn my honor, human, unless you seek to lose your tongue. I will not dishonor Vile's sacrifice with my actions. Save your wrath for a greater foe, the Discorians. Okay, so we're now allied with the Draden. Okay, so we can do all the various ones. That's good. But we'll move on to the next one at the beginning of the next part. So until then, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next part.